Hello, everybody. Hope people are finding me okay. We'll start in just a couple of minutes. We got about 30 seconds more. Okay, we're almost there. 7 seconds. All right. So we're here tonight for our Monday night simple stamping. This is geared to people that like simple style or clean style stamping. I'm going to do a couple of things a little bit different tonight than I normally do. First of all, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Corinne Sandin. I'm from Stampin' with Corinne. I'm here in Lewiston, Maine, if somebody's listening from out of state or out of town. So this is the hostess code for this month. Anybody that places an online order with me, their name will go into a drawing for a chance, since this is my anniversary month, for a chance to win this stamp set and the coordinating embossing folder that went with it. And then everybody that comments or shares tonight for the whole week, actually, every time I put your name in a basket, and I'm going to draw this past paper pumpkin refill. It doesn't have the stamp set with it, but it has everything to make all of these cards. And these words here are punched out, so you really can get away without a stamp set or using another stamp set that you have. So on Sunday morning, I will draw that after all of my live classes this week. And then if anybody places an online order, any size order will help. But if your order is $35 before tax and shipping, I will give you a package of the holiday rhinestones. Again, those will go out in the early August once I close the hostess code. The other thing I wanted to bring up, because I'm not sure people are aware when they see my posting about what my card kits are. So this one, we're past the date to be able to order the stamp set that's going to go with it. But I just want you to see what you get in one of my kits for $25. I know it probably sounds a little bit steep, but that's only $2 a project. So you would get 12 envelopes, 20 sheets of the Regals Designer Series paper, 6 white card bases, or you might need them in your projects, and then 12 sheets of card bases. I also will send you a PDF on how to make 6 cards, 2 of each design, and we'll be using different color papers. Typically, you just have to use the paper from your kits and possibly the envelopes. I haven't completed all the designs yet, so I only have 6 more of these kits left. So if it's something that you want, you can either private message me or put it in the comments and I'll get it back to you. Plus, there's always a little surprise in your kit as well. This is really geared for simple stamping. All the projects will be made with that snowman, which we're using tonight as well. So I just wanted people to understand the kits will be delivered or picked up, whichever is easiest for you, on the 16th. So with that said, I guess we're ready to get on to the projects. I just wanted to show some, I know sometimes people have a problem with cutting. So I wanted to go over a couple of things. This is the first card we're going to make right here, using that cute little snowman that I've used him for a couple of weeks now. So let me get my cutter. As you can see in the sample, this is 4 1/4 by 11, and I did stamp the inside. So when I'm going to cut cardstock like that. As all of you know, you can get two cards from one base. So what I do is I score it first. I always score my cardstock before I cut it. So in this case, I want to score it at 5.5 because I'm going to cut it long and skinny, as my husband used to call that, the hot dog. He used to help me cut all of my paper. I'll tell you, I really missed him being around to do that. And then now we're going to cut it. So I cut it at 4.25 by 11. So you can see it gives me 2 pieces of cardstock and it's already scored for me. Then the other tip that I used, you don't always need to put a full piece of cardstock inside. This is a nice size and it's plenty big enough typically to stamp on it and still be able to write a nice little personal message. I don't often, all the time, stamp something inside my card because I like to be able to personalize it for whomever's receiving it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this in the cutter. I'm going to show you how you can get 8 pieces for the inside of your card out of this. So we're going to cut it at 4.25. 4.25 and 5.5 are pretty common cuts. Then I'm going to hold these 2 pieces together because this cutter will cut 2 pieces of cardstock and up to 4 sheets of designer paper. Now I'm going to cut it at 2 3/4. One of these nights I'll do a little class on how to read a cutter because some people have a hard time with the 4ths and the 8ths and the 16ths. So I'm going to cut it again at 2 3/4. Now at this point it's 5.5. So if I didn't want to continue, I could keep it like this. But I want to continue. I always have, when I need to cut one of these, I cut all 8. Then I have them available for a while. So there. So now I have 8 little pieces for inside for when I'm ready to use them. Okay, so let me get out all of my supplies to make this cute little snowman. Again, he's from the snowman season. Now you could still order it, but I can't guarantee you that it would be here by the 16th when you get your kit. And I'm also going to show you how to use the Stamparatus. I've got some blends here. Get those all out. Lots of stamps here. That one goes with that one. And then a dauber. And again, you can buy these daubers. I will have all the information up for you in the morning. So I also stamped a little envelope and made it match. So I probably won't do that on camera just to help save time. So the pieces we needed for this particular card, again, was that 4.25 by 5.5. This piece is 3 3/4 by 5. So the next layer goes down 1/4 inch. Which would be 3.5 by 4 3/4, I believe. I lost my train of thought. Yes. And then I already had, this was my last piece for the inside. This is that 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, which I just showed you how to do. And then my envelope. Okay, so you always fold into the raised edge or the bump, as you'll hear me say. Take my bone folder and make a nice crispy fold. This is the piece we're going to stamp on. And we need to use the Memento ink because of the alcohol-based markers. If you used your StazOn ink, first of all, StazOn doesn't do really well with the polymer, which is your clear stamps, but it would smear because you would be using alcohol with alcohol. Now remember, when you're using your polymers, these clear stamps, there's no cushioning, so you need to make sure you've got something underneath you. In this case, I have a big grid pad. I'm going to stamp that right down here in the corner. Just let it sit there for a few seconds and let the ink gravitate. How's everybody today? What a beautiful day, huh? The weather was, to me, was just perfect. There, and now I'm going to stamp my words as well. Wait about 10 seconds. Alright, so let's do a little bit of coloring. Again, these blends, they come in a pair of two, a light and a dark. They have the brush tip and the fine tip. They're $9 a set. I'm just coloring in my leaves. As you can see, I'm not being careful. This is gray granite. You know how it is in the winter. The snow doesn't always stay nice and white. I'm using the coordinated Blackberry Bliss marker. If you use the ink in the paper, one color that matches, it creates a balance for you. So it doesn't really matter what your other color is. It'll be okay because you've used... Now some people will color his sticks and arms and everything. I'm kind of the opposite. I think a little white sometimes is good. So what did everybody do fun today? Are people still on vacation? Or some of you probably had to work. That's a bad word, isn't it? I did. I made about 15 cards today. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of this Balmy Blue ink. Again, refresher for those of you that don't, if you have one of our newer pads, it's like a compact. If you've ever worn makeup, I know there are some people that never have had to do that. You're just going to push it back like that. I'm going to pick up a little bit of ink. I just want some around my little snowman. You get a piece of scrap here. And just very gently. You can always put more. You can't take it off. So I'm just very gently rubbing it. And I'm okay with that. I don't think I need any more. I just want to accent my little flakes a little bit more. You could also use your Wrinkle Stella if you wanted to. I think he's just such a cute snowman. I just love him. Then we're going to put a few snowflakes using the same blue. Tap dance lightly. A lot of people tend to push too hard on the stamp pad with their stamps. You should either tap dance or just, these polymers, you can just kind of like rock it a little bit and see the ink is going right to it. Let's put a few more here. And another trick, if you use an odd number, it's more appealing to the eye. Yeah. Now we need a little bit of this for our inside too. I'm going to put a couple of snowflakes, and then I'm going to show you how I put my words. One right here, and one right here. So what happens with this stamping thing? This is a Stamparatus. It comes with this hinge. And in this particular case, I have 2 stamps on here. One for the next project and one for this project. And what you would do is you would put your project down where you want it. And you would set your stamp where you want it. But I've already done that part. And these are heavy-duty magnets. Piece of advice I cannot stress enough is a couple of things. Use your grid sheet so that it's nice and straight. Make sure you put some kind of duct tape or washi tape or packing tape, because if these, you get 2 of them. I typically don't use them. My other one's behind here. I usually just use one to keep them apart, because if they get stuck together, I know somebody is watching, I believe, that had them stuck together, and it takes quite a bit to get them apart. The other thing is to save the hinge of your Stamparatus. I always put a stamp pad or a stamp set. So again, I'm going to tap dance using the Memento Black. Oh, wait a minute. I think I got the wrong stamp set. Yep, I got to flip it over. Whew, I'm glad I caught myself. That's what happens when you put 2 stamps. So this pops right out. This is the stamp set I want to use. Let me see if that's... So I might bring this down just a little bit more. And sometimes I make a template. If I'm doing like Christmas cards and I got to stamp like 25 of these, I would just take a highlighter and mark where this goes. So I don't even have to think about it anymore. There, that looks good. Well, that was a good catch. Kind of funny about a happy birthday with Snowman, huh? I guess. You just press on it. And the nice thing about using the Stamparatus, if it doesn't come out nice and crisp like this one, I can ink it up again and put it down, and it would make it darker. But in this case, it's good. Since I'm moving this around a little bit, I'm just going to stick this to protect my sheet. So when I do my next one, let's pull this out so we'll be all ready for the next card. You just pull straight out. I'm telling you, you should, whoever invented Post-it notes, I should have taken stock. Okay, so let me set that aside for a minute while I finish up my card. This is a very rare thing for me to be covering up the whole back of this. If you've been with me for any length of time, you know that I always punch something out or something. I just hate to, I just keep thinking, but I couldn't think of anything and I had so much to do, I decided to. So I like to use Tombow. You need to find what your particular adhesive you like the best. I just like Tombow. Gives me a few seconds to make sure it's on straight. Same with the inside. It just takes practice on how much pressure to put on it. Okay, and this one's going to give you a nice border all the way around. Make sure I have no bumps or lumps from the glue. And then we're going to put some pop-ups behind this. Let me grab them. My pickup tools right here. And I'm going to center that. I kind of like this cut because it creates a nice border. Showcases the pretty paper underneath it. So there you have it. So the snowman, I did the same thing. I stamped him with Memento and I colored him in with the markers. Alright, so the next card, I'm going to show you a new product that I haven't shown you guys yet. It's the stamp set called Rail Done. I've been playing with it quite a bit the last few days. I really like it. And I used the exact same dimensions. The only difference is I did put a few little crystal things and the background was gray. But the inside is the same. The envelope, I don't know what happened to the envelope. Oh, here it is. The envelope, I stamped the little fishes. Used the same color. And that's how the rail looks. If you look on the picture, it's got this different variances. So don't think that there's something wrong with your stamp if that's how it's stamping. So again, I'll go over the parts. 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Nice crispy fold. 3 3/4 by 5, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, and 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So let's ink up our stamp. I also like the little font in this. So again, a polymer, and don't be surprised if you use a deep color like this burgundy or stain the stamp. But you know what? I've lost so many clear stamps because they blend into whatever's on the table, and I go to clean off the table and in the trash they go. I just want to wipe this off, make sure I don't get any by accident on my paper. Just let that sit there for about 10 or 12 seconds. And then we're going to stamp the words with the Memento Black. And we need this one more time. Oh! Let's see if I can fix it. You know what? I'm just going to flip it over. I'm actually going to clean it. Maybe there was something on it. So see, it happens to me. Just like it does the same thing with you guys. Sometimes it's just little fuzzies on our pad too, and we can't see it. Oh, it looks good. Alright. So you can see the ink gravitating. But there seems to be a little bubble there. Huh. Alright, let's try again, people. That's what's nice about cardstock. You got two sides. Let that sit for a minute. Let's see how it did it this time. Huh. Well, that's weird. So let me see if I got a blender pen here. We can fix it. Not sure what caused that. Just going to color it in a little bit, put a little bit of that color. I don't mind a little bit of shading. Alright. Okay, so now we're going to stamp some little, where's the Dauber again? I always stamp off a little piece of paper. Since I'm doing water, I'm kind of a little swirly. With some white in between. Then on this one, I did go around it by flicking. So you hold this up straight and then just flick whatever, either your Dauber or if you use sponges. Yeah, couldn't think of the word. So this is very easy. You know, somebody that's just starting out in stamping can do this. Now we need a little bit of dots. One more, I think we're good. Get my words that are right here. Make sure I cover this good. This one, when I first used it the first time, I thought there was something wrong with it, but it's the font, actually. It's like it's almost like they made it with a pencil, it looks like to me. Okay. I look at the stamp, not my block. Let it sit there for about 15 seconds or 12 seconds. And then we're going to do the inside. This time I'll use the right words. There we go, right there. I'm going to line this up. See how that looks. Right there. The stamp pad under here. Get these stamps out of the way. Grab Memento again. See? So now I can go back and fix it. Missing part of the words. There we go. That's the biggest thing that I love about this Stamparatus. I'll show you where it is in the book in just a second. Let me put that aside. I want to stamp a few fish. I think I did it across the bottom. And this fish stamp is really cool. You see how I'm coming in? So you can really make it look like they're in a school of fish. And I did the same thing on the envelope. can do it either way. That was pretty clever on whoever the designer was, I thought. Okay, so again, this is Smokey Slate. I'm going to attach it just like I did the other card. I'm glad I had a few modifications to make tonight. That's what I tell people instead of mistakes. No mistakes in stamping, modifications. Center that to have a little border all the way around. I like to take my bone folder to really press out that glue. Stampin Dimensionals. Make sure my card's going in the right direction. I've done that more than once. I bet a few of you have done that too. Put the thing upside down. Center that. Does anybody want to see a sneak preview of Wednesday night's class? If you like sponging and lots of color, you're absolutely going to love that class. I have a sister, my older sister, who's not a crafter by any means. I'm not too sure if my other sister's watching tonight, but she's not a crafter by any means, and she absolutely fell in love with the card. I don't know where the rest of those little blings are. I think they were from a paper pumpkin that I had on my table, so I have to look for something. So there's the cards. Okay, Stephanie wants to see a sneak preview. Let me get it. I work a couple of weeks ahead of time. So here it is. I'm going to teach you how to do that on Wednesday. Lots and lots of sponging techniques. Okay, so I think that's it. I will be back on Wednesday night at 7 for more advanced. This will be techniques this week. Thank you for your support. I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I hope you have a good evening, the rest of it. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.